Shall we have a look at how many teachers think these new proposals from Ofsted are a good idea? Just before I reveal this, have a guess. So a poll of over 10,000 teachers on Teacher Tap were asked the question, have a guess at how many agreed these reforms are going to be a positive thing? Well, just 6%. And will Ofsted take into account any teachers' views on this? Well, no, because they simply don't care about teachers, their workload and well-being. That doesn't mean you shouldn't get involved and have your say. I will put a link in the description of this video so you can go and share your views on these ridiculous proposals. Like many of you did with the Big Listen that they just didn't listen to at all. I know some of you thinking, right, Mr. P, we get it, you're labouring the point, but I cannot tell you how incensed I am by these ridiculous proposals that are going to change absolutely nothing. It will be just more of the same, which will mean thousands upon thousands of more teachers are going to end up leaving the profession, which is going to have a huge impact on our students. What these proposals show me is that Ofsted are incapable of reforming themselves, because ultimately they still don't think they are at fault and have done anything wrong. I want to cast your mind back to the time when the story about Ruth Perry broke into the news, and I felt compelled to speak out and try and share as many other people's experiences, and so created this Google form where anyone could anonymously just share their experiences of Ofsted. Within a couple of days, there were over 3,000 responses, which makes for very grim reading. And again, I will put the link to this so you can have a read through yourself. None of these ridiculously stupid proposals, this colour codes and nonsense, none of it addresses any of the real issues that teachers know need to happen to bring significant reform with Ofsted. It's still going to be shaming. It is still going to be high stakes. It is definitely going to continue to increase workload and put pressure on school staff and school leaders. The fact that Ofsted have made no mention of the coroner's report into Ruth Perry's death, their own internal investigation, which in itself was damning. The only thing Ofsted has based all of this on, the only thing is their Big Listen, their own PR exercise, where clearly they've cherry-picked some of the responses which were basically bigging them up. The way Ofsted get away with justifying this is they go on about it helping parents, giving information to parents, but I'll tell you now, and it's the same, if you're a parent watching this, same thing I say to any of my friends who are parents who ask, I wouldn't trust an Ofsted report. That is not the way to judge a school, because they are so incredibly inconsistent. And actually, for the vast majority of parents, what you want as a parent for your child in their school is nothing what Ofsted value or care about anyway. Most Ofsted reports are about as useful as a wet paper towel to solve a broken arm. In fact, I shouldn't use that as an analogy, because we all know wet paper towels can actually solve 99% of medical emergencies, unlike these lot who don't support or help with anything. I also find this interesting from Daniel Kabidi, the leader of NEU, saying most parents don't even choose their own school. Most children just go to the school that's closest to them. So again, what is the point? Should we be surprised that Ofsted have been incapable of reforming themselves when clearly they are never held accountable, so can get away with thinking they are superior and only focusing on justifying their own existence? But this tweet from Dave McPartlin really caught my eye, because I don't know how many meetings Ofsted have had in Nando's. I don't know how much time they spent on all these new reforms, but within seconds of putting it into ChatGPT, it literally came up with something miles better than what Ofsted have suggested. Shift to a developmental model instead of high stakes judgment. Common sense. Longer term holistic school evaluations. Again, common sense. Remove this gotcha culture and focused on honest self-reflection, well-being and workload consideration. And it goes on and it goes on. Now, I'm not one to suggest that AI should be replacing anyone's jobs. You know how much I love AI, and if you've been on any of my training, I make it clear that AI will never replace teachers. It's just a tool that can really help and support teachers. But when it comes to Ofsted, it's hard to argue not replacing them with AI. But like I say, if there's one thing you do off the back of this video, follow the link to go and have your say about this consultation, because every teacher needs to have their voice heard with this. We need to take a stand, because I just cannot put up with more of the same, which is just driving so many incredible teachers to leave the profession. And I will not you won't convince me that Ofsted aren't the main reason for why we've got the biggest retention crisis. And with these new proposals, none of that's going to change.